You think you're stuck because you loved her too much? But the truth is, you're stuck because you're still asking her permission to move forward. Let me explain what I mean. Right now, you're sitting in limbo. The relationship ended weeks ago, maybe months ago, but you're still there. Still replaying the last conversation. Still checking if she's watching your stories. Still wondering if she thinks about you. Still crafting the perfect text you'll never send. And every single day, you tell yourself you're healing, you're processing, you're giving it time. But here's what you're actually doing. You're waiting, waiting for her to come back, waiting for closure, waiting for some sign that what you went through mattered. And while you wait, your life is on pause. If that hit close to home, do yourself a favor right now and subscribe to this channel. Not because I need the numbers, but because you need the reminders. You need someone in your corner who's going to tell you the truth when everyone else is telling you to just feel your feelings and take all the time you need. You don't need more time. You need a different perspective. Hit that button. Here's the thesis. The reason you can't move on isn't because the relationship was so special. It's not because she was your soulmate. It's because you haven't reclaimed your identity. You spent so long building your life around her, her schedule, her moods, her validation, that when she left, she took the blueprint with her. And now you're standing in the rubble, holding a hammer, with no idea what you're supposed to build. That's the real reason you're stuck. You didn't just lose a person. You lost your sense of direction. And instead of rebuilding from the ground up, you're waiting for her to come back and tell you what to do next. Let me break down the misconception first. Most guys think the pain they're feeling is proof of love. They think, if it hurts this much, it must have been real. It must have been worth it. And so they romanticize the suffering. They wear it like a badge. They tell themselves that moving on too quickly would somehow dishonor what they had. But that's not love you're feeling. That's dependency. Love doesn't hold you hostage. Love doesn't keep you paralyzed. What you're feeling is the withdrawal that comes from losing your source of validation, your emotional certainty, your daily dopamine hit. You weren't in love with her, you were addicted to the feeling of being chosen by her. And here's the hard truth that nobody wants to say out loud. She's not thinking about you as much as you're thinking about her. She's not lying awake, replaying every memory. She's not writing unsent letters or stalking your profile or wondering if she made a mistake. She's moving forward. Maybe slowly, maybe messily, but she's moving. And the reason she can do that when you can't is simple. She already detached before she left. Women don't leave relationships the day they break up with you. They leave months before, they grieve while they're still with you. They process while you're still thinking everything is fine. So by the time she walks away, she's already halfway healed, and you're just starting. That imbalance is what's killing you. You think you're both standing on the same timeline of grief, but you're not. You're miles behind, and the gap is widening every day. And instead of accepting that and running your own race, you're still trying to catch up to her, still trying to make her see, still trying to prove that you've changed, that you get it now, that you're worth coming back to, but she's not looking back. And every ounce of energy you spend trying to get her attention is energy you're stealing from your own recovery. So why does this happen? Why do men get stuck in this loop while women seem to move on faster? It's because men externalize their worth. We build our identities around achievement, around being chosen, around being needed. And when a woman chooses us, when she validates us, it feels like proof that we're enough, proof that we matter, proof that we're doing life right. And when she takes that validation away, we crumble because we never built an internal foundation. We never learned to validate ourselves. We outsourced our self-worth to someone else, and now that they're gone, we don't know who we are. Women, on the other hand, are conditioned to maintain a sense of self even inside a relationship. They keep their friendships, they keep their routines, they keep their emotional lives separate. So when the relationship ends, they have something to fall back on. But you made her your everything. You let your friendships fade. You stopped pursuing your goals. You stopped showing up for yourself. And now you're alone, and the silence is unbearable. Because there's no foundation underneath you, just emptiness. And here's what that costs you. Every day you stay stuck, you're reinforcing a story. The story that you're not enough, the story that you need her to be whole, the story that your value is determined by whether or not she comes back. And the longer you tell yourself that story, the deeper it embeds. It becomes your identity. You become the guy who got left, the guy who couldn't move on, the guy who's still hung up on his ex months later. And that story starts to shape everything. The way you show up at work, the way you interact with friends, the way you see yourself in the mirror. You stop being a man with a future. You become a man with a past he can't escape. And the worst part, she's not losing sleep over it. She's not carrying the weight of your pain. She's not responsible for your healing. You are. And until you accept that, you're going to stay exactly where you are. So let's reframe this. The reason you're stuck isn't because you lost something irreplaceable. It's because you've been treating this breakup like something happened to you instead of something that happened for you. You've been seeing it as a loss. But what if it's actually a release? What if she didn't take your future away? What if she gave it back? Because as long as you were with her, you were living her version of your life. You were accommodating, compromising, shrinking, trying to be the man she wanted instead of the man you're capable of becoming. And now, for the first time in a long time, you have the space to figure out who that man is. But you can't do that while you're still orbiting her. You can't build a new identity while you're clinging to the old one. You can't move forward while you're looking back. And you certainly can't reclaim your power while you're still hoping she'll hand it back to you. So here's what the man who actually moves on looks like. He doesn't block her out of anger. He removes her from his space because he's protecting his peace. He doesn't post thirst traps to make her jealous. He focuses on his body because it makes him feel strong. He doesn't talk about her to his friends. He redirects that energy into building something real. He doesn't wait for closure. He creates it himself by deciding the story is over. He doesn't ask, "What did I do wrong?" He asks, "What do I want to build next?" This man doesn't hate her. He just doesn't need her. He doesn't wish her harm. He simply stops giving her real estate in his mind. He understands that she was a chapter, not the whole book, and he's ready to write the next one. He's grounded. He's purposeful. He's unavailable. Not because he's playing games, but because he's genuinely busy becoming the version of himself he's always wanted to be. And when he thinks about her now, it's not with longing. It's with gratitude. Gratitude that she's not in his way anymore. That's the man you're capable of becoming, but you have to choose it every single day. So here's what you do. First, you cut the invisible threads. Unfollow her, mute her, delete the photos. Not because you're angry, but because you're serious. You can't detox while you're still sipping the poison. Every time you check her profile, you're reopening the wound. Every time you scroll through old texts, you're choosing the past over the present. Stop it. Protect your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. Second, you reclaim your time. You fill the space she used to occupy with things that make you better. You lift, you read, you create, you build. You say yes to things that scare you. You show up for your friends. You invest in your career. You learn a new skill. You stop asking, "What would she think?" and start asking, "What do I want?" You redirect every ounce of energy that was going toward her and you pour it into yourself. Third, you stop negotiating with the past. Stop replaying the breakup. Stop imagining different outcomes. Stop crafting speeches you'll never give. It's over. And the only way forward is to accept that fully, completely, without reservations. You don't need her to apologize. You don't need her to acknowledge what you went through. You don't need her to see your growth. You need to see it. That's the only validation that matters. Fourth, you feel it without becoming it. Yes, you're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to feel the loss, but don't make it your identity. Don't camp out in the pain. Feel it, process it, and then let it move through you. Emotion is meant to be temporary. Don't build a home in it. And fifth, you set a new standard. You decide that you will never again build your life around someone else. You will never again outsource your worth. You will never again lose yourself in a relationship. From now on, you come first. Not in a selfish way, but in a self-respecting way. You are the foundation. Everything else is extra. This is how you break the cycle. This is how you stop being stuck. Not by waiting for time to heal you, not by hoping she comes back, not by distracting yourself until the pain fades, but by choosing every single day to become the man who doesn't need her anymore, the man who's too busy building his future to mourn his past, the man who knows his worth isn't tied to whether or not someone stays. You think you're stuck because you lost her, but the truth is you're free. You just haven't realized it yet. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are not doomed to repeat this. You are in the middle of a transformation, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and there are going to be days when you want to give up and text her and beg for another chance. But you're not going to do that, because you're not that man anymore. You're the man who walks away from what doesn't serve him. You're the man who chooses himself. You're the man who builds his life on his own terms. You are the answer, not her, not closure, not time. You. If this hit you where you needed it, subscribe right now, because this is just the beginning. There's more truth coming, more clarity, more fuel for the man you're becoming. This channel is for men who are done settling, done waiting, done hoping someone else will fix them. This is for builders, for grinders, for men who are ready to take their power back. You belong here. Now go build.